Go ahead.
Okay, it's performance anxiety in front of us. That's what it is. That's what
I
it
mean,
is.
I am popular, but we'll forget about that.
No, we can make a bunch of IP jokes next. Keep going, Jeff.
There you go.
Intro us.
I just like a rhythm.
Okay, it's good. All right.
Get my eyebrows squared away.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us again. My name's Jeff Bajorek, and I challenge people to rethink the way they sell because you cannot automate everything in the sales process every single time. There's still a human interactive portion of the program every single time. And here to help me with the human interactive portion of the program are my friends Amahl Williams and Shannon Peng. Amahl, tell us about what you do.
Amahl Williams, Sagittarius. My favorite color is paisley. Retired sales professional, full-time marketer.
I'm Shannon Peng. I'm an enterprise marketer, digital gladiator. I am a Snapchat junkie. As we've talked about, my favorite color is gray goose. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. That I see what you did there.
And this Kiss the Bride pink that I have on my nails, which apparently has been the #1 bestseller. My nail salon was giving me data. Right?
Nice.
So I love that. That's why I go there. Data, and they do bomb nails. So I know we've talked about a few things, right, as friends this week. One of those things is something I posted on LinkedIn, and I have been really surprised by the reaction. I'm showing you my LinkedIn here. So the stat that I posted this week was from a Forrester study that I was reading. In some research I'm doing for a post that I'll be publishing. And it's by 2020, 1 million US B2B salespeople will lose their jobs to AI, accounting for 20% of the B2B sales force, right? So in just a couple days, right, it says 3 days, over 8,500 people, excuse me, it's Friday, I have twins, I'm tired. Over 18,000 people have engaged with this, which is pretty phenomenal. It's really stirred up some interesting commentary and questions. But, Jeff, what you were saying, right, that we're human, right? We're not machine.
Right.
I thought this was something I really wanted to get your take on. And then Amahl and I would chime in. But this is really your wheelhouse. This is what
that's where you live, Jeff. Shannon, so one quick thing. Let's not forget the name Joe Basagna, because his 20% statement is a numeracy, and 8 people liked it. I'm going to get on that one later. Jeff, you're up. Go ahead.
Okay. We'll go back to that. Remind me.
Yeah.
So I think that's a bunch of doom and gloom, and we can talk about loss of jobs when the focus of everywhere else in the media for the last handful of years at least has been about job creation. And here we are, talking about computers and terminators and, everything coming through and wrecking everything. I think the question that needs to be asked is, why are salespeople so replaceable?
Paradigm.
I mean, wait, Amahl, is this the paradigm shift?
If I was presenting, the hands would do this.
Okay, all right. So the paradigm shift. Why are salespeople so replaceable? And I think this gets back to something that the three of us have talked about so many times is, okay, I don't like to do this stuff, so how can I find a better way to do it? Well, what if I reduce it or distill it to its lowest common denominator and just do it as much as possible, as mindlessly as possible? And so if I can touch 100 people by the phone in a single day, and I know that 10 of them are going to respond in some way or want a follow-up appointment, and if I know that 2 of those 10 are going to ultimately buy what I'm selling, then all I know is that if I call 100 people a day, I will make 2 sales next week. So how many calls can a computer make a day? Well, they're going to work more than a 10-hour day. They're going to work a 24-hour day. That computer, Watson, for instance, can make 10 calls at the same time, or 100 calls at the same time, or 1,000,000 calls at the same time. And you'll never be able to do that. And so what I feel is that when a salesperson reduces their process to the lowest common denominator, and that common denominator is literally a number, if an input of this many attempts if an output of this many attempts leads to an input of this many sales, then you're immediately setting yourself up to be replaced by something that can be more efficient than you ever can. Here's the thing. A computer, and machine learning is different, but a computer will never be able to think along the same lines of complexity as a human being, with the nuance that human being seller is going to get from that other human being prospect. And let's be real here. we're never going to run into a situation where we have robots selling to robots. There is always going to be
Or
a
maybe
human being.
we don't know what it looks like.
So
Well,
let's. So Jeff said a lot, you know.
I did.
And my paradigm is still shifted. So let's not lose sight of what that actually is. Shannon, can you please cue up my new favorite friend, Joseph, and his 8 friends?
Sure. I don't think, it's so strange to me that my desktop experience to what my mobile experience is. It's just like, okay. So yeah. So Joe, 20% more swings at the plate for accomplished sales humans.
So kill it, because people don't understand math. Here's my challenge. And I said this, I think, when I was being satirical on LinkedIn, surprise. It was very dry. It was very coarse.
Yeah, shocking.
Yeah, I know, right? Dennis Miller is one of my favorite comedians, except when he does political satire. I can't. No, he is. He's a beast. He's so good at being smart that if you don't get his jokes, you feel like you're not smart. That's a very difficult thing to do.
Tough to do.
It is. And you're like, wait, I better be smart enough to laugh at this.
That you've mastered it.
Oh, mais moi. So here's the thing. Some people think sales is a function, and others think sales is an outcome. So that 20% delta is sales is an outcome. Jeff, to your point, true artificial intelligence, wait till VR, but artificial intelligence, the product demos itself. Think about that. Because the goal, again, software sales, this is where most of the people online are talking about. Hopefully we don't have too many car sales folks, no disrespect, but if you don't have a base in your sales process, I have a lot of questions just about the company's financial health. Recover will draw something. But if it's a software sale, right, that disc, a lot of that disc is profit. And so, and the goal used to be, hey, would you like a coffee? Not a hard sell. Just want to know about your challenges of your business. Want to sit down for 30 minutes? BS. The customers don't have time to do 8,000 demos, right? So Jeff, here, let's back into your actual number. I can shop 20 business days, 12 months a year. That's my shopping cycle. And I get buyer's fatigue, so I don't shop every single damn day, right? I get decision-making fatigue, which is why sometimes I repeat outfits based upon the order in which I wash them, or the really smart folks repeat their outfits. Before I get too far off track, when that 20% reduction in headcount comes in, those guys, their quota is going to go up. And it's going to go up directly correlated to the number of sales that occur without the friction of a human being being involved. And I think that these platforms will get less and less and less complicated because you're not going to sell interfaces anymore. You're going to say, how many of these interfaces are just like my interface? How many of them have analytics which are customizable? Quarter, month, because we're not going to process the information any differently as humans. I need monthly reports, weekly reports, quarterly reports, year-over-year reports in a visualization platform. Shout out to Tableau. They're very good at it. Favorite partner. Just gave us some dollars to go to market. But Jeff, I think that's the problem. It's not less salespeople on the sales floor. It's less sales for the sales audience, which is why that is a diminishing group. So part 2, as a salesperson, you can't just be a salesperson. You better get versed in platforms like CRM. You better get versed in content management systems. Please understand how to use social platforms. If I got to train you to do that, I don't think you're fully invested. So as that workforce diminishes and decreases, Jeff, I'll let you take both of these. What do those unemployed sales dudes do, or gals? Right? Guys probably get fired more. What do they do to get back in? Right? What are they going to do with their 18-month unpaid vacation? And then for the ones that are in there, right? I don't like to say the 80-20 rule, but how do they survive that fray? To me, there's two approaches I could take. If I'm sitting in that same environment, I start training salespeople, right? And I start taking the insights from the automated sales to train the sales development reps. That's me. Now I'm safe. I'm not only measured by revenue, right? Revenue is not my only metric, and I have a wall of meat puppets to keep me safe from the CFO for a little bit of time. That's one. The other one is, guess what? I become a marketer. So Jeff, you can talk now.
Well, so what you do is you think about what you can do that a computer can't, that artificial intelligence can't. You look at ways to reach the people who AI can't reach. And at least in our lifetimes, look, the technology is going at just a blinding pace, right? And nobody knows what isn't possible because we don't even know what is possible, right? So it's impossible to say, what AI is going to be or is not going to be. But what this tells me, and this is partially what scares me about this breakup of the roles, right? We've got BDRs and SDRs and people who just do prospecting.
Right.
You are boiling yourself down to a one-trick pony,
Right,
a
right.
replaceable one-trick pony. That's a problem, okay? And that's, selling is about more than one person creating leads, one person closing deals, and then another person taking care of the customer.
Right.
Maybe this is another discussion for another time, but you're leaving business on the table if you're segmenting. You're leaving relationships on the table at that point, which are going to then, it's going to impact your referrals. It's going to impact, the good things that are said about you. It's going to impact the overall customer experience. But I think if I'm someone who's replaceable, and I lose my job to a robot, I've got to think really, really hard about, well, there's a couple ways to go here. I think if that's the case, then you probably weren't that passionate about selling anyway, and you shouldn't be in the game. But on the other hand, it's if I'm really that passionate and I found myself replaced, then I need to go back to the drawing board and think about, once again, what makes me different. And it's always, and you both know this, you succeed in sales by being different from other sales reps. Yep. This is really no different. I think what we're going to find is that the herd is culled, so to speak, and the worst 20% of the sales reps are going to lose their job to a machine that can just do it better.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
people, we've been overhiring. So we've been overhiring essentially.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think overhiring is part of it. Overhiring, undertraining, underdevelopment.
Facts. Yeah.
And so now it's like, okay, well, you are not the cream of the crop are going to be fine because the cream of the crop get it.
No, you're right.
I'm not worried about me. I'm not worried about you two. We get it. We understand it. We got to pull from multiple disciplines.
So let's do this. It's always a fun exercise. What's in your unemployment go bag? Like, let's say sales, you know how rappers do, right? Like if this rap game doesn't work, I'm trapping. So like, aside from trapping, what's, that's an easy one for me, right?
Wait, you're going to be a rap star?
Listen, my bird game is not as good as it used to be, but it used to be on fleek. So what I'm saying is that let's pretend.
Thank you.
Let's pretend that we lose our sales jobs. I have mine's easy. So I'll start my go bag. My go bag is if I lose my sales gig and I feel that 18-month unemployment pressure. I use my car to do Uber, right? I do it full time until I save the earnings from that to solve my bills, obviously, right? It's a 70 stacks a year gig. You have to just, I'm gonna have Dunkin' Donuts. I can't have Nespresso and Starbucks. Anyway, I'm gonna do the Uber until I have enough extra cash to rent out other cars or add other Uber drivers into my fleet, right?
Sorry, Amahl, that's a sales job.
But I like that one because I already have a car, right? I got a clean driving record. Right, I'm already conditioned to go to work every single day for a segment piece of time. My road rage is going to be on fire, right? But other than that, I'm doing that until I can get cars that I can rent out for people to use. And if you do that long enough, supposedly the math is, hey, you'll have a comfortable income over time. So that's in my go bag besides bird game. Shannon, what's in your go bag?
But that's a sales job, Amahl. That's that's the question, right? I mean, we're all in sales.
Right.
So, does that mean that you're just going to go find a sales? So what you're saying there is you're going to find a sales job that a robot can't take until we have driverless cars?
Right. But remember, when it comes to that kind of experience, our affinity, right? The intern's back who you're sitting on right now, right? That's not a swivel chair. You know that. I got an intern on it. Employee number 2, come here. I think that people will have the tech aversion. Enough service-driven industries will have tech aversion to the lack of the human touch. So again, there's a correlation to what you said.
Yes.
But I don't believe that we believe in automation to a point because we are all, if we're using services, most cases we're probably got an element of control in us. And that lack of control, that risk, makes us uncomfortable. Unless the car's in a track, which it won't happen.
Right.
We probably won't have that 100% market share. Now, what you'll have for the autonomous car riders are early tech adopters like ourselves here on the line. I've seen tons of people take it. It's like, for me, it's a standard commute. Because to me, that autonomy, I take a nap during my commute sometimes. Or, you know what, I throw on Netflix or whatever and I hang out. So there is an element for it. I just don't, the market share is not going to be, 50-50, not even 80-20. Some will be autonomous, some will not be. And that's just kind of what it comes down to. But what's in your go bag, Jeff? What do you do? That's my go bag.
Well, let's go to Shannon first.
Shannon, go bag.
Okay, so wait, I'm just going to say this. So I think it's interesting you picked Uber. You sold us on you driving Uber.
Yeah.
You're talking about luxury as a service, right? Luxury as a service because we all want a driver. I know driving a minivan, which I call a swagger wagon.
Swagger wagon, spaceship. Yes.
Right? It's a Honda Odyssey. It's in the dream, right? It does not come with rear view mirrors, right? Because spaceships do not. Which is a Post reference and an Outcast reference.
I saw you.
Inspired by Amahl. All that being said, is that time is truly our only luxury. And while we're all in the minutia of what I think, like my parents always called the rat race, right? Can you guys hear the construction outside? I'm sorry about that.
No, we're good. Audio sounds good to me.
Evolution happens. In my go bag, I think without being too cheeky, one would be to do social persona enablement, right? So I obviously have a very big personality. We are friends as byproduct of meeting either on like a podcast in a social space, LinkedIn, some form of 6 degrees of social separation, right? But I've come to life as a digital gladiator, and it is an art and a skill to be authentic and to be real. And that's really where I'd be focusing my time. I mean, I do love tech, but because of NDAs and whatnot, right? It's like there's certain windows, but that would be my go bag, and then maybe to pursue my modeling career, because we all know I have a Colgate smile.
Jeff, she didn't make it easy for you, Jeff.
I was gonna say, how do I follow that? Okay, so
Jeff, what's in the go bag, player?
my go bag. And this would be tough.
It's hard.
I'd have to rethink this because I have kids and kids go to school. But my go bag, I would buy 10 crisp white dress shirts to have in rotation. I would buy probably 3 black ties, and I would go and wait tables. And I would wait tables at a really nice restaurant because I love food. I love adult beverages. I love non-adult beverages. I love the art that goes into preparation, in the cooking, in the eating, in the smells, in the drinking, in the feeling, in the temperature changes, and everything that goes along with creating an experience around a meal, which is where families and friends and groups of people create experiences. That's what I would do.
I was going to say a food truck, but yeah, nice.
And I wouldn't do a food truck.
Actually,
I wouldn't do a food truck. Food truck's too transactional.
Okay.
Is that market that's 20, 30 minutes away from you. The one that has specialty liqueurs, specialty foods.
Oh, yeah.
They've created a real customer experience with you.
Absolutely. And that's what people would come back. And that's why people would come back. And if I recommend a fantastic wine this time, they know that the next time they come back with their clients or whatever, maybe it's the cocktail of the week, or maybe it's this fantastically curated brown liquor selection behind the bar, or whatever it is. That's what I really get fired up about. And to me, I have a lot of passion there. Now, the caveat to that is that it is a sales job. And so I don't know if that qualifies. Secondly, the other benefit here that I didn't get to mention is that would be a night job, and then I could wake up in the morning and still play golf.
No, I knew golf was coming. I know. I assumed golf. I'm like, he's going to start playing skins games.
So we've got that going. But I think the key there, though, is that every single one of us, great. As soon as, and this actually reiterates my point from before, though, and we'll kind of wrap up with this, but the idea that if we were to be replaced by a robot, what we would instinctively do is go to our passion, and we would find ways to use that passion to connect with other human beings in order to create experiences for other people. To create experiences for other people while then ultimately, getting paid to do that.
Yeah.
Right. And that is what the best salespeople are going to do in their regular jobs. And that's why we're not going to get replaced by robots. Yeah. And it all comes full circle. But it's just, to me, that it's intuitive. It's natural. Like, all you had to do, Amahl, was ask a very simple but very great question. So what would you do? Oh, well, I would do this because this is what I'm really good at, and this is what I really like. And it all comes down to creating that experience. Why aren't more people creating experiences? Why do people choose to just go, all right, I got to make my 100 calls today? Like,
that's your dumb guy voice. I love it.
As we've talked about AI, the lights in here have gone off.
That's
You know what's
scary.
funny, Jeff? I'm gonna say, do you have a way to put Migos on the end of this? Like, we should have our exit music be Migos. Mama told me not to sell work. I'm glad we all chose not to sell drugs. That's just it's not a good life, kids. Let's make smart choices out there. Okay, let's create experiences and serve others. Service is so important.
I totally agree.
So important.
Oh,
So there's two. So all right, I'm going to end with a story. There's two goldfish in a tank. Okay. One says to the other, "You got any idea how to drive this thing?"
But
Back with you again sooner.
I love them.
We will be back with you again sooner than absolutely necessary. Thanks for being here. See you next time.
Good stuff, guys. I love it.